I'm still awake, I gotta shine this year. What's up, my dudes? Hey man, this YouTube thing's finally starting to pay off for the Spency boy here. I appreciate the heck out of all the support, and I just wanted to say a little bit of words of wisdom to some of you guys. Never, ever, ever give up on your dreams. Ever. Never. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what your dream is. Dog, it's your own life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have gave up on this YouTube thing a long time ago when I was making pennies. And I didn't. I kept doing it. That's what you got to do, man. You just got to keep doing it. If you want it bad enough, if you love it enough, you can make anything work. So, just letting you know, don't give up on your dreams, kids. Spency boy words of wisdom out here. So, wanted to make a video talking about the DLC of Supercross 4. Now, I knew I was going to die on a rock here at some point. This is kind of sick, the compound here, but with the rainy mode on. That's kind of cool. That is a cool little vibe for sure. But yeah, some of the biggest things I think they need to add with DLC in this game, and these are things that I think should just be free DLC, not like paid DLC, not like microtransaction DLC. I'm talking about free, basically update type DLC, because all these things that I'm going to be talking about in this video should have pretty much already been in this game. It really should have been. Right? These are just things that you would have expected in this game. So, number one, they have got to give you more stuff with the track editor in some kind of an update or some kind of a DLC with this game. They've got to. I mean, some of you boys do realize that the only new thing with this track editor compared to Supercross 3 is literally 2 new module pieces. 2! And that's it. That is the only new thing to this entire track editor of this game. That is so lazy, I can't even fathom it. Like, yeah, they did give you the ability to color the tough blocks and all that, but that's not a new thing. That was a paid DLC feature back in Supercross 3, if some of you guys don't remember. A little Travis Pastrana action out here. That was paid DLC in Supercross 3, so that's not a new feature. It's just one of those things of like, if you never bought that paid DLC where you could color the tough blocks and all that back in Supercross 3, now you just get it for free in Supercross 4. But other than that, 2 new module pieces. That is it. That is it. So, you know, that's kind of the logic that I bring into. They need to give you a track editor DLC that is not paid DLC, that gives you at least like another 5 to 10 module pieces, at least, at the bare minimum. And I would also love to see something like some sort of another kind of dirt compound. You know how they added in the sand compound where you could change... you could change the different module pieces from dirt to sand. They have got to give you another option in there, like a red clay option or something like that. And another thing I think they desperately have got to add to their track editor is the ability to make a custom track in a Las Vegas style stadium where you actually have an area where you can build outside of the stadium, right? Or like a Monster Energy Cup type custom track stadium thing where you can build a cool little motocrossy area outside of the stadium, right? I cannot believe they did not have that in the very first Supercross games track editor. You know, multiple of these things that I'm talking about really should have been in the very first Supercross games track editor, and we're on Supercross 4 now, so, you know, don't forget, like, so a lot of these things should have been in there from the jump. You know, pre-made rut module pieces or like a little slider to adjust, you know, how much like ruts and roughness and stuff that's on the track. That would be really cool. Like, you know, you go in there and build your entire track and then you adjust this little slider of how much pre-made basically that you want, and it'll just randomly sort of form like pre-made ruts and roughness and how much like character and wore down the jump faces are and stuff like that. You could have like a little slider that goes from, 0 to 100%. So it'd be like 0% would be like perfectly smooth, perfect jump faces, perfectly prep style track. And then all the way at 100 would be like ruts everywhere, roughness, kickers. They desperately need something like that as well. But that's a big thing I think they need to do with the paid DLC. Or not even paid DLC, but just DLC in general. They've got to do something with the track editor. I don't know what they could do that would even be really worth actual like paid DLC at this point. I just don't know. I have seen a couple things of some people like potentially seeing their DLC plan early and stuff like that. I know that I saw something like a couple months ago that was kind of looking like we were going to be getting another Great Legends DLC for Supercross 4 like we got in Supercross 3, which is a really cool DLC. Maybe that'll be something that they have as paid DLC. But as far as like the track editor, because it was so lazy and so not the amount of improvements and changes, literally 2 new module pieces, that was it. They got to give you more than that, like period. So another big thing that I think they need to add with DLC is another compound. It's just getting to that point where like one free ride compound is just not enough in these milestone games. It's just not enough, man. Like it really isn't. I mean, and that's what it goes into as well is in Supercross 3, if you don't remember, the little Supercross tracks here on the compound, you had 8, literally 8 of those in Supercross 3. You guys remember they were really cool? I talked about how that was so cool, how that added like content to the game and everything, because those tracks were awesome. But with Supercross 4, they give you 4 of these little, outdoor training Supercross tracks instead of 8 that you just had in the game before. And these are so much more piss poor, super tight little beginner arena cross tracks. I don't even know what these are, but these are nowhere near as good as the outdoor training Supercross tracks that we got in Supercross 3. And there's literally half of them, half of the amount of them that we got with Supercross 3. You just can't be taking steps backwards like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't be doing that, Milestone. So that's one way that you could sort of redeem yourself, is give us a whole nother compound in free DLC. Give us 5 to 10 more module pieces in the track editor. These are just a few things I would just expect. This is not like, oh, Milestone's going above and beyond with this DLC. This is just shit that I would expect from how the content of this game was when it came out compared to the game that we just had before this with Supercross 3. You would just expect more of those outdoor training Supercross tracks. You would just expect more than just 2 new module pieces to the track editor. Can we do a backflip on this shit? Oh, Betsy. Cannot do it in the mud. I could have done that not in the mud. Let's see if we can do it here. But yeah, like give us a free ride compound like in a different kind of biome, like a cool snow biome free ride track, or like a something else, man. I just feel like we've had way too many of these standard woodland fucking compounds in these milestone games. Give me an AO in chat if you agree with that. Like, good God Almighty. Give me a little AO in chat, you know what I'm saying? My gosh, man. It's just like woodland track after woodland free ride track after woodland free ride compound. It's like, yeah, they changed them like little by little every game, but and this compound does have some cool jumps and shit on it, but like, to be honest with you, I'd rather ride on the compound in Supercross 3 than this compound. Straight up. So that's a couple things I really want to see in DLC of this game. Those are some of the heavy hitter. Of course, you always want to see 2 strokes in DLC. We may end up getting that. Oh, man, that's tough in the mud. We may end up getting that with like how the Rick Johnson 2-stroke was in Supercross 3. Hopefully we'll actually somehow get like a fully customizable 2-stroke type DLC. That's kind of another sort of DLC that would be cool to see. But yeah, definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see in some DLC of this game. Those are kind of like realistic things that I could see them doing as DLC. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, don't forget to go add me up on Snapchat at Spencer Turley, no spaces and no capital letters. I will add you boys back on Snap. And if you want to get in the Discord, all you got to do is DM me on Instagram, also at just Spencer Turley, no spaces and no capital letters, and I will get you in the Discord. But just want to get in here and kind of chitty chat a little bit about the potential DLC of this game, and take this green wall out of this area. Let me ride to the water on your initial free ride compound here. That is complete bullshit that I cannot ride out to the water. I don't know why they did that, but it makes this whole area feel so stupid right here. Like, why did they do that? I don't know. It's like they're just trying to prevent you from being able to ride out to the water. That's the only logical thing I can even think of right here. It's like they didn't have a proper, like, flooding mechanic to the bike, like in the old school MX versus ATV days or whatever. Whoa! Hitting some kickers out here, hitting some kickers. But yeah, those are two of the most lackluster things to this game. It is the track editor, the lack of improvements to that, and just the lack of like actual tracks on this compound. There's literally only 4 Supercross tracks on this compound, and they're really basic and really beginner and really shitty. So they got to do something. I mean, you just can't. That's straight up a step backwards from Supercross 3, and there's no doubt about it. And so that would be a way they could kind of redeem themselves with some free DLC, like I was talking about. But Milestone, they'll probably charge us for it, right? And then give it to us for free in the next game and act like it's a new feature, coloring the tough blocks, right? That's probably what they'll do. Let's just keep it real right now. But Milestone, people are not retarded, okay? They understand what you're doing. People are not blind. Like, they know exactly what you're doing. I hope you realize that. Yeah, you might fool the 1 out of 10 absolute Milestone fanatics, but other than that, people know what the heck you're up to. Like, all you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot by not giving us proper improvements to the track editor and proper track content. And that's the other thing about the default Supercross tracks this game. They exactly replicated last year's tracks, so instead of getting like 16 unique different stadiums, you only have like half of the amount of stadiums that you normally would, because the last 6 or 7 rounds are all in the Salt Lake City stadium. So those can kind of get a little repetitive. So even more so of a reason to why you needed more track content, but more than you had in Supercross 3, but you don't. You have actually less in this game, which is just super weird. So either way, don't want to make this video too long, but that's my opinions on some of the heavy hitter things I want to see out of some DLC. So yeah, man, either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. We're alive, boys.